Welcome to Sports Jazz. Isaac, Josh, David, and we are back after a long weekend, an entertaining weekend. Football being back, all leagues, Premier League, La Liga, and yeah. So let's get right into it, guys. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into Sports Jazz. My name is Isaac. Once again, reintroducing ourselves, Josh, David, and which game should we start with, guys? I think let's start with the
Fulham.
first game that opened Fulham, yeah, in Manchester United.
I think
Josh,
it would be unfair to start with Fulham Manchester United when an Arsenal fan is here and he thinks he's going to win the trophy. So really, just be
I,
fair to him and let's start with Mikel Arteta.
we'll start with Mikel
Hey,
Arteta.
Wolves did some things to them. They were scared for a bit.
You know,
sorry, man.
that's why I was
Jo-
telling you before the game. I had a bad feeling about that game. Even before we started, I was having a chat with Josh, and I just felt something was off. And that's because when you watch our last friendly against
yeah,
what was that French team?
the
Olympic
French team.
Lyon.
Lyon,
Yeah,
Lyon.
Yes, there were some issues with warm weather, and we had that period where we just, take the foot off the pedal and almost look exhausted.
mm,
And against Lyon, I could see that Lyon wanted to use that window to kind of nick a result. I was concerned the same thing would happen, and I felt like we had that moment in the Wolves game. If you discount the scoreline, there was a period in the
Yeah.
game where it really felt like they could pull the game away. But yeah, we managed somehow.
all right. Thank you. We are going to come back to that so that you tell us exactly what happened, David. Once again, guys, welcoming you to Sports Jazz. David, Josh, we are in the building. I myself, Isaac, talking sports, talking football, to be specific. So, Josh, let's start our weekend preview with the game Manchester United versus Fulham in a game where United won 1-0. One would argue that it wasn't very convincing, and of course, a United fan would say it was very, very convincing. Just walk us through the game. How was the game? What were the highlights of the game?
The game had a lot of highlights, but you should know going into this game, every Man United fan was excited. The place was buzzing. The Premier League could not have advertised itself any better than to pick Manchester United to be opening the league on a Friday when there is no other game. Because I mean, the work that we had done in the transfer window so far, everyone was so excited to see how good were these players. And just a few days before the Friday, before kickoff, we just brought in two new players in Mazraoui and De Ligt. And everyone, even the neutral fan, wanted to see whether the two will play. And a bunch of Arsenal fans were actually hoping that these players get injured on their debut. That's if they play on Friday. But on the whole, the game itself, the game was good. There were improvements that were made from the last time. The last time Fulham was at Old Trafford in Feb.
Where you lost 2-1.
We lost the game 2-1. Yeah, we lost the game 2-1. But coming into this game, we knew the threats that Fulham do pose, and Fulham is not a very easy side. It's not a bogey side for United, but it's not a very easy side for United. Um, we do struggle a bit, though we get over the line. The first 10 minutes of the game, it was a bit cagey, but you would understand because not many of these players have had a full fitness or a match sharp. But as the match went on, there were so many positives from United. There were so many good things about United. From the 4-2-3-1 formation as a starting position to the 4-2-4 formation to the 3-1-6 formation. So I mean, to see three formations in one game is quite something. And yeah, you would see that there are things that Ten Hag is doing, and the thing that impressed me the most is at least this season, though it's just one game, the players seemed to be adapting to to the ideas of the manager, or they're listening to the instructions, because it was spot on. Apart from the lack of match sharpness, which you could easily see, it was
Yeah.
spot on. Then
Nick,
maybe
uh,
after Davi, I'll give you the highlights of the game, because it's a mouthful.
shout out to you, Nick Fadley, as always. Nick says a quite entertaining game week. Liverpool, Arsenal, and City are all with 2 wins, rather 2-0 wins. That is correct. And Man United 1-0. And Josh, no, I still want to come back to you.
Yes.
Before David comes in, let's talk about the highlight of the game, Joshua Zirkzee.
Yeah, just before Joshua Zirkzee, I think the first highlight of the game was Mazraoui.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh, he
oh
had a
my
very
God.
decent game.
Oh my God, what a debut. What a debut. You would see exactly you would see exactly you would see exactly what you missed from a player like Mazraoui, and the one you had before. I mean, like, if Aaron Wan-Bissaka was in that pitch, he wouldn't be doing the things that Mazraoui was doing. Mazraoui did so much.
He was so
It's
good
like
going forward.
every touch he did have, I was like, wow, wow, this guy. Oh my God, this guy. Why did we take this long to sign him? But I hope that he remains fit. I was glad that he came off not injured. He came off just because he had played a bit 70 minutes, and the manager felt that it was time for him to go off, and he wasn't injured. Then Joshua Zirkzee, the icing on the cake.
Uh-huh.
When Joshua Zirkzee was brought on, and yeah, what a way to make your debut. Old Trafford, Stratford end. You have about 3 touches on the ball. Then your fourth touch is a goal, and not just a goal, like a striker's goal. A striker's goal. You see the thing that will help Garnacho and Rashford a lot this season is if Zirkzee plays more and he keeps drawing the centre backs to the midfield. They'll vacate spaces which Rashford and Garnacho will exploit because of their pace. It was a beautiful goal, well taken goal.
You've said whatever I should have said, or whatever I wanted to say. David, did you watch the full Manchester United game?
So, yeah, as we had spoken about Joshua Zirkzee, I was happy for my United colleagues. It's such a relief. I know how it feels when you get a player of that caliber. But we talked about Zirkzee here, and even if we agreed that he's a finisher, we also highlighted his ability to facilitate the forward play, especially in that final third. He's, so to speak, a final third artist of some sort. And you could see that he was involved even in the beginning of that move, right? He had to back. Oh God.
David, you ready?
Yeah, carry on, David, carry on.
He has his movements mislead the defense. He runs forward with them and then drops back to receive in the space. And then, he's just a very interesting player to watch. He's doing a lot of things in a very subtle way. And as we could see, he also has the instinct of a finisher. Because that was like you just called it, Joshua. That was a striker's finish. It was just instinctive. There was no planning. He just instinctively tapped the ball.
Imagine if you had, imagine if Mount was still on.
Oh God.
Well,
no, George, I'm saying
not the same thing, but I see
of
where
course
the
not the
value
same thing.
is.
Yeah, you get my point.
Mount. Yeah.
I also see the value for Mount in the side, but football has evolved. You cannot be on the pitch doing only that. I mean, you have to be able to create. You have to be able to help your team in other ways. You're playing one of the most important roles in a team, you see. But you cannot be not even a facilitator. He plays
And
the
in a
role of
team like
a facilitator, but he's just kicking people around. His job
Josh,
and
is
in a
to
there's
team
chase.
in a team like
I
United,
understand.
even if you're doing all those other things, you have that unmentioned onus to actually produce that end product.
Yes,
Yeah,
Whether it's
true.
stated or
Josh,
not, they'll
just
expect you to,
slightly.
you know, to have some, to score a goal or two every now and then. But
Mm,
there are moments when, there will be moments when it really looks like Manu. I suspect Manu will start to over depend on Zaxi, especially if he keeps producing that way.
that is not
Let's see how
fair.
that goes.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
that is not a good thing.
I totally see
Anyway,
that
guys,
happening.
yeah, I still think Mount shouldn't be. I mean, he's good if he comes on as a squad player. I mean, comes on from the bench. Ganacho, I still again insist should start ahead of ahead of Rashford coming in. Coming in from the left, and yeah, Diallo is having a decent. He's adjusting. He should also start. The back line,
I think Diallo should
Maguire
be a start.
should be off
But
next time when they're starting. Yeah, Josh, and of course
Isaac, if I
Mazarawi
may,
and Dalot. Yeah,
yeah, you should know that Ganacho went and played at the Copa America. He won the
mm,
Copa America. He had some time off
yeah,
to celebrate. That's Argentina. Long trip
yeah.
back. Came back to United very late. Probably has trained for about 10 days. Played a lot of football last season. In the manager's defense, I mean, Ganacho should not have started the game. He rightly sat him out, and to bring him on later was just to give him a few minutes to help get him ready for the future. But
Mm,
there was no problem not starting Ganacho. And for Rashford's case, just like Mount, I told
mm,
you before when we did the watch along.
mm,
The manager knows that there's a player in there, and he wants to actually revive that player. For a guy like Rashford, you see so much. There's so much hope in what he can give you on a good day. So you hope that that carries on and he keeps doing that. And the only way to actually get him in good stead is to give him game time.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
so you think it was
I,
the
I
right?
understood that decision. Yeah. Even the
It was,
decision for Mount, because Mount could not be judged last season.
yeah.
He could not be judged last season, so they have to give him game time. We have to see what he's about, so we can write him off. He's on our books for a lot of money, so it is not easy to just kill that asset by keeping him on the bench.
Anyway, I still think he shouldn't be, at least until he's fit, because there are lots of players in the United team, very many players, lots of players that do perform better than him. I don't know, and I hope next in your next game against Brighton, Fernandez plays in his role behind Zaxi, and of course Zaxi leading the line. I wanted Josh. I don't know whether Josh will be. Sorry, David will be ready to give us an insight of what happened between Arsenal versus Wolves. I don't know if David is ready. Let's
Yeah,
carry on. Josh, David.
yeah. The Arsenal game,
Yeah,
man. We got away with the result, but I still felt there were issues. Maybe the
mm,
issues are not very obvious, but it still felt like we have carried into the new season some of the issues we had last time round. For example,
yeah,
uh, it's never really clear where our goal is going to come from, right?
yeah.
That is one. And it's good that we got the goals from the usual suspects. But then I'm also looking at the longer haul. Saka is starting to really be a concern. Yes, of course, top players play every game, every match day elsewhere. But yesterday we got a scare when he sort of caught a niggle amid the game. We almost felt like he was going to be taken off or carried off, and that had us concerned. So I'm thinking we need to act fast in whatever is left of the transfer window, so that we could probably get a decent replacement, a decent backup for him. And then we didn't see Calafiori, but we saw Jurian Timber. Jurian Timber came on and just pulled some magic. Partey was a bit clumsy in midfield. I think he's not yet fit or something around that. Maybe he's not yet really found his rhythm. But we didn't play with the same panache that we are used to seeing. The game was not free flowing. There was a bit of a lack of fluidity to the way we play. But nevertheless, we managed to pick a result. If we can keep getting the result when we're not playing well, when we're not playing at our best, then that can also give you some hope, although the concerns we have are genuinely there. We need support for Saka. We need support for Saka. We need to see our new boys come on. I thought they would bring on Calafiori for probably the last 10 minutes. It didn't happen. So there are a bit of some issues. Maybe they're not obvious to the outside crowd, but internally we can see. The Arsenal crowd can actually see what those issues are.
Okay, thank you so much for the insight. Josh, you watched. What do you think about Arsenal versus Wolves?
I feel like the European tournament or and the Copa America actually took a toll on these players, or it cheated them of preseason games, because the Arsenal game, yes, at certain points they looked like they would easily win this game, but they lacked sharpness. They lacked. There was a quality we were used to seeing about Arsenal that was lacking in the game. It wasn't intense. They were not sharp. Maybe not fit. And Wolves actually gave them a big scare.
So you think?
But they managed to get it over the line.
They still need, as David was saying, without assuming some of their star players are out. Saka. Then you have players
I do not understand this extended romance with the signature of Mikel Merino. I mean, Arsenal should just go ahead and, like David rightly put it, find backup for Bukayo Saka. Yes, Bukayo Saka is a very fit player, and he gives almost 110% every time he plays. But there will come a time that he needs to do what? He needs to be rested. He needs to be rotated. And Arsenal doesn't seem to have a player, at least of that high quality, playing but where Saka plays. So this whole romance with the signing of Mikel Merino, they should just find someone better in those positions.
Yeah, David.
So
David,
I noticed Mikel Merino didn't play in the Sociedad game, and he also wasn't in the squad.
No.
The squad for the match day. So the fact that
there's already rumor that the agreement is closed.
Yeah, because the club has already agreed personal terms with him. So let's hope something comes out of that. Maybe we shall see more sort of like emerging solutions other than the ones we have been accustomed to, the Sakas and the like, winning games. Maybe Mikel Merino will add a new dimension to the way we play. I really hope for that, because I was not very pleased with the general outlook of our game, even though we took the result.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. Okay, let's go to Liverpool. Ipswich Town being beaten by Liverpool 2-0. Goal scored by Oyota and Mohamed Salah. One would argue that Salah is going to be one of the top scorers this season.
We already, yeah, you did, but we already picked him to be among the top scorers this season.
Yeah,
like he has always been for the time that he has been at Liverpool. He's still a star player. He's still their star player. I liked McKenna's side. I liked Ipswich Town. I liked what they were about. I even got the feeling that just like Vincent Kompany and his Burnley side, Ipswich Town might just have too many ideas they cannot really execute at this level. But they started the game really well. They at least threatened Liverpool. But Liverpool, even without a coach, not that they don't have a coach, but even without a coach, you would see that they were always going to get back in that game. the players that they have. Mohamed Salah, Diogo Jota, Soboslai. What a pass from Soboslai for Salah's goal.
I'm laughing. I still
It-
think
It's
Liverpool
such
is
a
one of those
star.
teams that that might crumble this season.
For some reason, I had a bit of hope with the Ipswich side. I don't know why. I felt like their team is not so bad. They have interesting players with interesting stories. I thought or I expected it to be a bit of a stiff one for Liverpool.
Mm.
Ipswich has some, I don't want to call them very good players, but they have promise. They have promise. They have Liam Delap. They have the Arsenal kid, the kid who was at Arsenal. So it just feels like there's a chance they could upset. If they didn't upset Liverpool, then they're definitely going to upset someone. I just look at that team as one of those teams that will actually have a threat just under the radar.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, I do believe so too.
Okay, guys, let's go through. Then we had Everton being beaten by Brighton 3-0. They even got a red card. Then Newcastle beating Southampton 1-0. Of course, 1-1 Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. And the other match, to me, actually, the match of the day, West Ham versus Aston Villa, the dark horses of EPL, where Aston Villa managed to beat West Ham 2 goals to 1. Yeah, a goal scored by Paqueta after a tackle on what's his name? It's Suchek.
Do check.
How do you
Shit.
yeah, Suchek. Then of course, yeah, penalty. He converted in the penalty. Josh, tell me what you think about that game.
I think the game
Because
came
they
too
also had
fast.
new players. I was a bit disappointed that the West Ham manager didn't use all the players. His artillery was waiting right there on the bench, but he didn't really
Yeah,
use
it
them.
is. Yeah, like that. That's exactly what I was saying. That the game came a bit too fast for the manager to actually know his best lineup. And I'm sure if we did have this game 10 games into the season, it would be quite a fixture because both teams have strengthened really well, and they look like they're going to put up a really big fight this season. But
Mm.
as you saw, they're still figuring out their best sides and who should play and who should not. But that's what I missed from the game because I saw that these two sides have so much. If actually that there were 4 5 games into the season, we would have seen a more interesting fixture.
Thank you so much. Moving on, yesterday we had Brentford beating Crystal Palace 2-1. Then also the big game or match, which was between
Oh,
Chelsea.
Isaac.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is
the
it
big
vice versa?
news in there. Yeah, the big news in there is Ivan Tony was not in the squad for Brentford.
Yeah, it looks like he's headed to Saudi Arabia. By the way,
Yeah, and no,
looks
there
like
was
he's
also a rumor that he might just end up at Old Trafford.
no.
At
I hope he
United.
doesn't. I hope he doesn't.
I hope it doesn't too.
But he could join
Why?
Arsenal. Arsenal. No, he could join Arsenal.
He'll give you some good depth. Eh?
At he could
No,
Actually
join
give
you
Arsenal.
need
any team good depth.
no.
Yeah,
Trust me,
but you
Arsenal.
see, the thing is, the experience that Ivan Tony has, and you can maybe call him prolific because the time we've seen him in the Premier League, at least he's gotten double digits, and the other end of the double digits, not where it starts from. So
Mm.
you would like to think that he's going to command a starting position in that United lineup. And the way I see the players that we've bought for Eric Ten Hag, I don't see Ivan Tony playing well in the system that the manager wants to play.
I don't see him fit anywhere. But again, I insist, Arteta will make him brilliant. No goals.
That guy
You
is a
need him.
finisher.
Yeah,
He's a
he
Yeah,
is a
but,
finisher.
finisher.
He would,
but it looks like he's headed
and
to Saudi Arabia. Seriously.
I'm inclined to believe he's probably even got more experience, at least Premier League experience in
Yeah.
MLS than let's say Hoyland. he could give him
Yeah,
some good
yeah.
competition, even if we're
Plus,
optimistic about what Hoyland could become.
could
Yeah.
offer. Yeah. Plus, the other
Speaking of,
thing is Ivan Tony is fit.
yeah,
Yeah,
who,
yeah, he's
by the
Yeah,
he's
way,
a
he's,
very
he's
he's
always
barely.
available.
Yeah, he's always available. Most of the times he's available, unless otherwise. Okay, now let's go to the highlights of the fixture weekend fixture, which was Chelsea being beaten at Stamford Bridge by Man City. Both goals were amazing, especially Alan's game. But the second goal was also
Kovacic.
fire. Kovacic,
Kovacic.
brilliant,
Oh,
brilliant,
yeah.
absolutely
yeah.
brilliant. Yeah. You
Chelsea
have
makes the
something just
same
to say?
mistakes.
Um, I did have a big problem with the way Chelsea took on that game because Man City was there for the taking, but Chelsea was also there for the beating
Mm,
because they 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 tried to play well. They had a good shape, but the problems that they did have last season, all the problems that they had last season continue to show even this season because the manager still is figuring out who he should play where. Sterling had a bit of uncalled for attention to the team when he came out and his representatives came out and questioned why he was not included in the squad, and they preferred that it is clarified with him. But on the whole, Christoph Nkuku, Nicholas Jackson, and Cole Palmer started for Chelsea up front. Romeo Lavia and Caicedo played as a
midfield.
double pivot,
Yeah,
and Enzo Fernandez was so poor. He
very
was the
poor.
poorest player on the pitch. And
You know
Chelsea
what?
or Enzo Maresca could not ask Cole Palmer to come in field and he's involved in the game. They put him on the right hand side and he was never involved in the game. Yet he's their brightest player. It really bothered me.
Yeah, David, you
Yeah,
were saying something?
yeah. One of the things I that just bother me about this Chelsea side is, okay, yes, we can agree that we have a sense of how Enzo Maresca wants to set up, but sometimes there are important things that the quality you have at your disposal tells you. For example,
Mm,
uh, I don't think I felt like they were very cautious in that build-up phase. You know, we expect them to eventually mature into a side that builds up from the back very, very firmly and comfortably,
yeah.
but they were very cautious to do that. And then I keep getting the sense that Enzo Fernandez is one of he's not a burden to the team, but he's a burden because he has very, very high quality, and yet it's not different managers that have gone through Chelsea are failing to actually figure out where to apply him. Personally, I think he's supposed to play deeper. It's very tempting to put a player like him closer to the hot spots of the game, but I feel like he thrives when he has a bit of a distance and he's just following the game, arriving late, just
You
Agreed.
know,
picking out those long passes.
Enzo
Yeah,
Maresca, I
we have
think,
seen that type of midfielder.
yeah, David, please, sorry,
Yeah,
continue.
yeah, we know he has his most singular, most important attribute is passing. He can pick all ranges of passes. With all the runners in that Chelsea team, I wouldn't want Enzo Maresca to play very high. I mean, Enzo Fernandez to play very high up the pitch. I could put him deeper. I think he would thrive if he were deeper, simply picking out those passes
That's
the
a
way
very bad
classic De
call
Bruyne does. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
think
but
it's
you
just
for the
you
a
see,
manager.
David, you see, that's the problem. That's the problem that Enzo Maresca has because it's more than a headache. Because you have Caicedo and Romeo Lavia. Lavia was injured last season, so Lavia is back, and you want to play both of them. But you also have Enzo Fernandez, who you've recently made your captain, and he has to start. So you have three almost similar players in your midfield in
uh,
Caicedo or Lavia, and Lavia had a good
Josh,
game. He was actually Chelsea's brightest
yeah,
player.
even me, I was going to talk about Lavia. He
Maybe
performed
Sanchez too.
better than everyone. Who, the keeper? Yeah, the keeper also did well. Josh, the manager got some notes wrong. Like we were arguing yesterday, or okay, not arguing, but
Yeah,
talking about, we're having a discussion about Jackson. He's not that prolific. He should not lead the striking lane. If you have Cole Palmer, I would put Cole Palmer ahead of him. He shouldn't play. No, honestly, I think his movements are
uh,
slow. He would
but he was
no.
their top scorer last season.
But he's not that type
The
of
thing
player. That
is,
how many goals did he score, Josh? How many goals did he score?
I'm not certain, but I think 15,
Cole
16.
Palmer
Sorry,
or Jackson.
No,
no, Jackson.
Jackson.
David, you think Jackson should be the one leading the striking lane, Chelsea's striking lane?
I think the issues that haven't been fixed in the rest of the template are affecting his performance. That's
Mm,
how I see it. I feel like he can actually score goals if the supply has been,
mm.
set up. If the team has been set up to supply him properly. This
So,
Chelsea
Josh,
side has
sorry,
very many.
David, if you had Cole Palmer and Jackson leading your striking role, who would you give it to lead?
I wouldn't want Cole Palmer to lead the line either. He's a creative
Yeah,
player. Yes, he has the
he's a
goal.
creative
Think of
player.
it.
Why
Most
would
of
I
the
give?
goals he scored were penalties. Many of the were
No,
but he
Yeah,
can
that
pick a
kid scored
pass.
some
He can
worldies
make the
last
final
season.
yeah.
pass
He
go
scored
outside.
some worldies, but he scored those worldies because of his
He has
starting
them.
position, coming from a creative position. He was
Yeah,
deep.
he just occupied creative roles all through last season, and even this business of putting him wide, I just don't get it. I
Yeah,
think
that too. We did talk about it. He's supposed to play behind the striker, where Enzo
anywhere this
Fernandez was
midfield could be
yesterday.
set up very differently. I would invert that diamond, Enzo Fernandez at the base, Caicedo, Lavia ahead of him. Man,
Mm.
this guy should just try out other things. This feels
And he
like
has all the players. Yeah, apart from the scoring,
bit
gentlemen,
of
the
a headache,
scoring.
bit of a
I
headache
don't
because there are
feel
many, but
Jackson
at
at
least he
all.
can get a starting 11 that can dispatch most of the opposition they face. He just feels like he's carrying forward the same problems from last season.
Do you think he's thinking too much? He's trying to overthink?
I don't know. I can't tell at this point. It's too soon, but I expected to see something different from this game.
Okay, thank you so much.
Actually, for
Yeah,
me, it looks like he was just trying out his players to see who is best to
well, he
to.
tried out well that he had Todd Boyle to walk out after the second goal was scored. By the way, guys, we haven't talked about Man
Ama-
City. I mean, there's
American.
literally little to say about City. City is still City. They are picking up. I would say even that chemistry was still players coming in from holidays. Those that had played in the Copa America, those that had played in the Euros. So they are
For me,
still yet to mix.
the highlight for Man City was
Lewis.
Savinho.
Savinho.
Savinho,
Oh,
because Savinho, not only did he inherit the 26, but he has happy feet. They
yeah.
are quick. He has a good football brain. I mean, like when you saw him run with the ball at his feet, uh, he did look like Mahrez. He was
Yeah,
so good for the short time he was on
He
the
did
pitch.
not look like Mahrez, but but yeah, he played well. Maybe with time, he's going to bring
He
glory
will. No, he
to
did
shirt
look
number
like him. I
26.
mean, all the touches that he was, all the touches he was making was so clever.
Mm.
How he was picking out players, choosing to beat his man or not to. The
But yeah,
decisions that he made were clever,
Savinho,
which reminded me of Maris.
Yeah, but Savinho is a very good player. He really had a good game yesterday. At some point, I thought he was going to go off injured because I saw him in a lot of pain. So I was worried that he's picking up an injury already. But
I
well,
believe he got a bit of a knock.
I also think he has to be checked. Nick says Brighton first game without Dizabi came with big results. They're on top of the table, but Dizabi's first game with Marseille was also convincing. Yo, Mason Greenwood, Mason Greenwood dropping bodies that side. He was
Low.
fantastic, playing so well. And
Yeah,
Marseille
he
has
did.
really, really signed good players this season. They've been shopping they've been going in for everyone. Very good players.
Yeah, we
And of
wait for
course,
them to come back to the Champions League.
Yeah,
But
Nick is
Brighton has the youngest manager in the league,
yeah, 31
Fabian
years.
Husler.
Yeah,
Yes,
31, right?
and yeah,
And
and he
Milner
won. He won 3-0.
3-0 comfortably. And Nick said the only reason why Enzo Maresca plays Enzo Fernandez is because they have the sauce.
Believe you me, I had that feeling at some point yesterday. I'm like, but is it because of your first name?
Yeah, Josh. Yesterday we had La Liga. We had Mbappe on his debut in the La Liga. Game ended. He was playing. Of course, game ended 1-1 in a game where I saw Ancelotti was trying to, mourn, say whatever he was saying. He was saying maybe the team wasn't happy, rather the team wasn't well. Okay, they didn't play well. They even got a red card, and yet Barcelona on Friday won. They played on Saturday. Sorry, they won 2-0 against Valencia. Is that a good? I mean, should we be worried? Should
Not
Mbappe
at
be
all.
worried?
Not at
Madrid
all.
fans be worried about Mbappe, or it's
Not
too
at
early?
all. Not at all. Real. You should know that Real Mallorca is a bogey side for Real Madrid, as in
Mm,
even in the heydays when Samuel Eto'o was loaned at Mallorca, actually from Madrid. They used to come and beat up on Madrid when Madrid had Galacticos.
mm.
Yeah, it feels like Madrid has Galacticos again, but it was always going to be a tough game. They played well, they squeezed, but it's too early. It's too early. They've just come back. They're looking for levels of fitness and match sharpness. They'll get back in the groove, and they'll just
So in other
sweep
words,
that title away this season.
uh, Madrid fans. Yeah, David. Should
Yeah.
Madrid fans be worried?
Nah, I don't believe they should be worried. I think, in a very general sense, the teams that have just been promoted,
Mm,
if they even have some kind of decent talent, they could
mm.
just they always have the opportunity to cause an upset, because in as much as the world has changed today, it's easier for a small team to be very, very familiar with how Real Madrid plays than Madrid knowing exactly how to approach a game like that. That is a game that usually is picked up by the quality of the players. But if a team like Mallorca or any team, promotion side team, has a very, very serious manager who's on top of his game, he could actually come with a strategy to genuinely upset the big team. So, but it's still too early to call that verdict now. I think Madrid will just settle in. It's going to be business as usual very shortly for Madrid.
Business as usual. By the way, still on La Liga, do you think Barcelona is going to put up a fight or no?
Man, it just feels like Barcelona has so many issues, and they just keep creating more issues for themselves. Now they
I
have
saw today Ike
uh,
Gundogan is walking away. He said he doesn't want to cause a lot of problems, and it looks like I
because the
think he's
manager
coming back
told
to Man
him
City.
he's not in his plans. He implied,
Mm,
maybe he didn't say it
Yeah.
expressly, but he implied. And yet,
mm,
keep in mind, this was possibly their most productive player last season. He was the
mm.
one
Yeah.
that made things tick, especially in their midfield, which was fractured all through the season. So, why would you want to create a new problem at a team like Barcelona? It just defeats me when I think about it.
Well, Frank De Jong
I
is still
always
there and
think
he's
it's
causing
about
problems.
I always think it's about letting players go so they can register the new ones they've gotten. Because from nowhere they just wake up in the morning and they're like, "This guy, I don't like him anymore."
Yeah,
Mm.
it's sad, but they're far from it. They're far from finding any kind of rhythm at Barcelona.
Sure.
Okay, let's wish them well. I think that's it for today, guys. Transfer news. We have Mikel Merino. It looks more than certain he's going to be joining Arsenal. Then we have Manuel Ugarte. I read somewhere before we came on that
You guys should just drop that Manuel Ugarte Cavosi, because
the problem is Chelsea. Chelsea doesn't want to do it. It's not Chelsea. I'm sorry, PSG. They paid 60 million euros to get him last season, if I'm not
PSG is going to
mistaken.
break
Please
your
correct
heart.
me. So they want to get, if not the same amount, something slightly higher than that for
But
him
you
to
see,
leave.
much as we do need Manuel Ugarte, because watching the United game, you would know that we still, in some spells of the game, had the problems that we had last season, and we shall continue to have those problems, especially when we choose to play a 3-1-6. At the point that we played a 3-1-6 and we were playing a high line, Kobe Mainu was the one in midfield. Casemiro had extended to be among the 6 people in attack. So if the press is beaten, there's only Kobe Mainu, and he's not the fastest either in midfield. So I mean,
We need to talk
we
about.
still
We
need
need to talk
a midfielder.
about in a future show about United's new things. United has visibly solved certain problems. Like it's very
Yeah, by
clear
the
that
way,
there are certain
we
problems,
need to talk about
especially
United,
defensively.
Arsenal,
Bro,
and Liverpool. But
yeah,
Chelsea also,
they're
Chelsea
all
has a lot of
coming up. They're
problems.
all coming up
Chelsea has
this
a lot
week.
of problems. I know City is also having struggling. They're soon starting their battle with the whole 115 FFP, all that whole case. Plus, I
That
also
legal
think
battle is not
they're
ending now.
rebuilding.
Forget Arsenal winning a
Yeah,
trophy because
Wow,
Man
because
City
of
wow.
was
points.
Josh,
yeah,
sorry, David,
no backroom
David.
titles.
I don't believe that will upset them in the short term. However, they're giving me vibes of, remember the city that had Sterling and Sane.
Mm.
Yeah,
This current city, the city that I saw over the weekend, just gave me that impression. It's like a reversion back to that
They are rebuilding.
old-fashioned
I think they're
wingers.
rebuilding.
Yeah, they're
Because-
rebuilding, but even the approach itself, the approach is going back there.
And
So
remember, I
it
don't know whether
looks like
Pep is going to, because he hasn't. I read also against somewhere yesterday that he had been told he needs to make up his mind if he's going to renew or if he won't renew. And I myself,
with
I
all
would
that's
suggest,
happening,
David, may I think if he's not going to renew, let him not say it before the season ends, because Liverpool, the players were a bit affected when Klopp came out and said, "No, I'm not staying. I'll be working at the
yeah,
end of the
but
season."
at least Klopp said it towards the end of the season. There was like
Mm,
what 2 months,
mm,
2 months to the end of the season.
yeah,
and Liverpool was
At
riding a
least
very good wave.
yeah, but you can see that all he had foreseen that the ambitions of the club are over. We're not going to
no,
win
I
the
think he was
Champions
just
League. We're
tired.
not going to win the league.
I
No,
think he
no,
was
no,
just
no,
tired.
no. I mean to make the decision to say it at that point.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
if
get
you
what you're
look
saying.
at your Liverpool side, you're not going to win the league.
The
You're not
season's
in the fight of the
objectives had
FA.
failed.
Yeah, the season's objectives are more. Sorry, excuse me.
I
The
get it.
season's
That makes
objectives.
sense. That makes really that makes sense, Josh. Yeah, you're correct. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Great show, guys, that we had. EPL Weekend Review. We shall be coming back tomorrow. I don't know. We will be letting you know. I don't know whether we will come back speak about United or Liverpool, but I think it could be Liverpool. Then there's
It's
a game
on this
today,
week.
Josh. There's a game
Yes.
today. Leicester City versus Tottenham Hotspurs. What's your take?
Anje Postecoglou needs to do much
Postecoglou is
more than
going to
he
be
did
fired.
last season.
He's going to be fired this season. That I can tell you.
How so?
He's going to be fired. He gives me those vibes of being fired very soon.
As Van der Ven.
Fired before Maresca.
Ah,
I have a bad feeling for Maresca.
But
I
yeah,
think,
me too.
Chelsea
But
has
do
old
you know why
players.
we share? Do you know why we share the bad feeling about Enzo Maresca being sacked? Because he's at Chelsea. It will be nothing to do
because
with
he's at
the
Chelsea.
style of football that you see. Like Eric Ten Hag when he came at United, there's so much that Enzo Maresca must do off the pitch before even
Coming off the pitch.
extending his ideas at Cobham. You see,
Yeah.
It's
And he also has
going-
to count on the support. If your boss walks away dramatically like that because
I
the
know
very first
No,
the
year
that's very,
culture.
very wrong.
is
The
moreover
culture
against
is
the best
broken
team
at
in the
the
world.
club. Yeah,
It's just A bad look.
No, but
You say
believe
that
you me,
against
it
the team,
was
the best
Chelsea
team in the
was
world.
pathetic.
Yeah,
David, you said
but I
against the
mean,
best team in
we
the world.
still, yeah, arguably the best team in the world. I mean, we can talk
Yeah,
about
arguably,
Madrid
that's
being a
correct.
tournament team, but
Mm.
over the long haul, if you want to win 38 games every day of the week, I would count on Man City to do it better than Real. So in that sense, these guys know how to play the marathon. They're the best in the business. 4 in a row. It's the first game, and then you walk away dramatically like that. That just
I
dents
know,
the
but
confidence of the manager.
in Todd Bowley's defense, as a Chelsea fan yesterday, I could not believe the team gave up. They gave up.
That's embarrassing.
They allowed City back into the game. For spells of the game, it wasn't
By
really
the first half, I
domination,
think the first
but
15, the first 15
yeah,
months,
they had a lot
minutes,
of
Chelsea
possession.
tried.
They had a lot of possession, but it was in places which are not dangerous to hurt Man City. But then again, the second half starts, they were trailing already, but they allow Man City to get back in their element of just knocking it around. Man City was not even good on the day. They were misplacing a few passes themselves. But Kevin De Bruyne looked sharp, sharper than he looked whole season last season. But in the first game, he did look sharp.
Kovacic
And
was
and
on
and when
point.
The
Kovacic was
goal.
very good. Yeah,
Kovacic,
Kovacic was good.
that goal from Kovacic, that was
But
amazing. The run.
the press, oh my God, I cannot say that Maresca's ideas should
Speaking
be
about the
ingrained in
press,
these Chelsea
Josh,
players. But
talking about
one
the
guy
press.
would just run off. Enzo Fernandez would just run off on his own and start a press. No one
Josh,
else is with him.
now that you've said, you've mentioned the press in the City game, let's talk about the United game. Winning.
Ooh.
I mean, the speed at which United midfield was winning back possession, it was amazing, guys.
They
It was
nailed
very, very,
the
very amazing.
5-second ball
You want to
recovery.
start tomorrow's show today? We can do it.
Okay,
We can do that.
Bartram,
Guys,
stop
let's talk about
cheating.
today's
Stop
game.
cheating.
Okay, let's
Yeah, stop
guys, real quick, in
cheating.
2 minutes. In 2 minutes, Postecoglou, is he winning tonight?
Yeah, it's Spurs versus
Leicester City.
Leicester City. Yeah. Unfortunate for Leicester City. I don't know who made that decision for them to go out there and hire that guy they hired. I mean, nothing against him, but with all due respect, that's not a manager who is going to keep you in the league. That is why in my predictions, they're the first I actually see being relegated along with Everton.
So you're
I
saying
just do not see.
so
Yeah,
Spurs is
Leicester
going to
City.
whoop.
Yeah. Steve Cooper is the worst of the managers they would have hired, and they gave him a chance. So I just don't see how he's going to keep them up.
Yeah, for a
Josh,
team
which
that has
managers
just
do you have?
only recently,
Mm.
for a team that has
David,
only
please carry
recently
on.
lifted
The championship.
domestic owners championship, and I think they have an FA somewhere very recently also. I'm just very suspicious about their real objectives. They're starting to look like a selling club. Maybe they're just in the season to audition some of the talent they're going to produce this season, but I think Spurs is going to dispatch them very easily.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you. By the way, I think we also need to come back and teams that are likely to be relegated, managers that are likely to be sacked. Because I myself, I think
It's
Maresca is not
game
going
day.
to
It's
stay.
match day one.
It's match day one. Yeah, but I see where you're coming from, Isaac. Some people are showing very early signs.
Anyway, Nick says it's too early. I think after 12 games, then it's fair to make judgment on any of the new managers, including Maresca,
Yeah.
Anslot, etc. Let's wait and see, guys. Thank you so much once again. Those of you that have been streaming, Sports Jazz, like, share our videos, guys. Keep subscribing to Non-Stop. And we are signing out. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Nick, as always, man. Shout outs to you. Signing out, David, Josh, Isaac. See you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.